Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Cowboy. It is 8:30 a.m. EST, Monday morning, Monday the 11th of December. And we did have an exciting weekend on Bitcoin. I actually did this video really quick last night. It was like one of those YouTube shorts about how I think Bitcoin might actually fall downwards. And then, like, literally 5 minutes after uploading it to YouTube and scheduling it for I think about 10 a.m. EST this morning is going to come out on YouTube and TikTok, and it literally started that process of heading down. So that's kind of a bummer, although it's verifiable that I did it because I sent it to my people in the private group there right as it was going down. But either way, we're going to take a look at that chart today at Bitcoin, that the quite strong move that it made here yesterday. Now, whether or not it's going to continue upwards, whether or not it's going to continue downwards, that's something we can take a look at because it really could go either way. I am seeing some decent indications of that, but Bitcoin is well known to punish the shorts. What does that mean? That means that Bitcoin is well known to people who are trying to bet on the price going down. Bitcoin will hurt you. It'll go against you. So it's a very well-established thing. I got buddies who won't short Bitcoin. They won't do it. So we're going to get into that. But for the moment, we have the gorilla just signed on. V, how you doing, sir?
Namaste and good morning to all of you.
Nice. Yeah, we just talked briefly about just some basic stuff, introed what we might talk about today, but we haven't done like the exciting welcome to Algo Factory V the gorilla thing. So do you want to unleash my bro?
Absolutely. Listen, you crazy savages, you're out there listening to us on cyberspace. They can still call it cyberspace or the information superhighway.
Oh my God, dude.
God, I'm dating myself. I sound like Al freaking Gore, the man who invented the internet. But anyway, listen to all you Zillennials, Millennials, Gen Zs, Gen Xers, whatever the heck you are. Maybe you're a boomer. Maybe you're one of the greatest generation. You're on your deathbed right now, but you want to make that last-ditch effort to make a positive impact on your bottom line, and you've come to the right place. AlgoFactory.tech, where we not only teach you how to trade, but even go further by teaching you how to code the algorithms that help you to trade 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no matter what market, no matter where in the world you are. From Boston to Bali, from New York to New Zealand, from Australia to Zimbabwe, AlgoFactory.tech has you covered. So scan that QR code, join the absolute best of the best right here. The Cowboy, the Gorilla, we make it happen every single day. Join us or lose money.
That's it. No. We don't make any guarantees that you're going to make money. But what we do is we guarantee.
No, we guarantee if you work your ass off, you'll make money.
Well, if you work your ass off, yeah. Here's the thing about it: if you work your ass off in some way, shape, or form in the world, you'll make money. If you work your ass off at the Algo Factory methodology, there is an extremely high probability you will make money. But this is going to be completely dependent on your actions. So, it's nothing comes easy, folks, in life. There's no get rich quick. There's no get rich overnight. That's all snake oil, so you can't listen to anybody say, use my system and get rich. This is not likely. But before we go into that whole philosophy, do me a favor, subscribe, make some comments if you're watching this either during the show or especially if you're watching after the show. I will actually chart for you. I'll do custom charting. We did a soft open with Algo Factory. We have not done a marketing push yet. So even though we do have a pretty big crowd in there, we're just in our infancy. So we do have the time to actually answer questions for the public at large. So if you actually have a chart, hey, I want to see what, Bitcoin chart or whatever it is you want to see, for the moment, we do have time to address questions from the public. So there's going to come a time, oftentimes that time is here during shows, but there will be a time where every single show will be so busy we will not have time to do custom charting or answer those kind of questions. So get it while you can, or just come join Algo Factory. I'm gonna flash that QR code one more time. We're gonna get into the charts and the content. Okay, so there's your QR code, and it's also on the top left hand side of the screen. let's go ahead and explode some charts. What do you say, V? You want to get in the charts?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. So I was telling everybody before you hopped on, and I know you were traveling, so I don't think you had time to actually check out the Telegram this weekend.
No,
But
I mean, briefly, I know BTC is down. Gold came down just like I predicted. Where are we at now?
Gold or Bitcoin?
Both.
Bitcoin is at 42,000 basically. Nice. Gold is going to be
2040 or something.
Oh no, gold should be lower than that.
Yeah, it should be right. It should be in the 1900s.
Yeah, it should be in the I think it's been in the 1900s. I'll tell you right now. Yeah, 1994.
Ah.
Yep.
What did I tell you? Guys? We get monkey hammered over the weekend.
Yeah. Monkey, dude, we called this like weeks ago. We knew, everybody got excited when gold broke its all-time highs. 8 years on your world, oil is dying. Like, no. You have to understand.
No, somebody was spooking the market. That's all it was.
Yeah, it's just, look, here's the thing about it. And I'm going to give my version. V actually has far better info than I do on this because he actually talks to some people. I'm not in precious metals like I used to be, and V is actually in precious metals on the institutional side. So the way I look at this is gold is going to break all-time highs when the East agrees that it's when the East thinks it's okay, when the East allows it to happen, because the West wants to keep it down for the moment, that's for sure. But the West's capability of doing so is eroding and fast eroding. So when the East wants it to go up, it will go up. And I have the feeling that the East, China, Russia, and pretty much everybody except for Western Europe, the US and its friends, the Eastern Bloc, I think, is still accumulating. They want to buy gold at a decent price and a decent clip. So I think that until they are satisfied, and I think it's going to be event driven. I think that the move to gold is going to be something that might coincide with other events, and they might be kind of waiting for those events to occur. But Gorilla, correct me on that, because that is your bailiwick and not mine.
No, that's exactly what it is. I mean, the West keeps the price of the yellow metal low in order to make their currencies look good, and the East benefits off of it. So they're like, okay, why fix it? This will correct on its own when the U.S. can no longer use the dollar as a main form of trade settlement, and that'll be the end of that. And it's at that point this whole thing comes apart.
So there you have it. And that sounds about right. We talked about this in our private group like weeks and weeks and weeks ago. And by the way, let me zoom out on this chart so we can tell you exactly what we said and how it reflected on the charts, how it went down. If you look at the high time frame, and I mean, high time frame here going back to years, the all-time high in gold was kept bumping its head on about 2075. We're going back to like 2020, and it did approach that back in the Great Financial Crisis. But we have this consolidation. In fact, let me go ahead and go out even higher time frame on gold. There's a lot of people that like us are into precious metals as an insurance policy, and we don't give any investment advice here, so you got to make your own decisions on what you want to invest in. But guys like us, we tend to like to invest in precious metals, right? And if things get really bad over time, gold ends up being a safe haven. Bitcoin seems to be following that pattern thus far. Bitcoin, real quick on Bitcoin. The thought is a lot of people's like, well, it's a safe haven. Well, in the short term, it hasn't acted that way so far. In the short term, if the markets fall, Bitcoin falls, gold falls. But if you look over the long term, gold and Bitcoin have really appreciated against the dollar over time. So that's the way that we look, right? So for those of us who we like to hold crypto over the long term, and then we take small trades in the meantime, I like to trade Forex. I do some crypto trades. So long story short, we'll get into that. But looking at gold now, and this is going, as you can see in the bottom of the chart, back to 2020. Each one of these candles here is a week's worth of price action. So we're going back, I don't know, a couple hundred weeks, whatever that is. And you see what 3 years is going to be 150 weeks. It gets monkey hammered every time it hits this 2075, and it got hammered again. But what happened was a lot of people got excited because, a lot of people are I think they're just buying a narrative that gold is going to skyrocket tomorrow. The world's going to end now. Look, we might not see this happen for years. Gold going up and up and up. I want to tell you something. Bretton Woods happened. I can't think of what year it was. was post World War II, and at that time the pound sterling was the world's reserve currency. So around the world, these governments held the pound sterling as their reserve. They were doing trade in pound sterling. This is how it was, right? The British Empire had reigned supreme for, I don't know, 100 years or more. Well, it took nearly a decade before the new agreement happened and the dollar became the reserve currency. It took nearly a decade for that to actually form up. So understand that, okay, just because you have this scenario where, okay, the dollar is no longer going to be the reserve currency, and okay, that might be the case. And in fact, it's been eroding for decades now. This dollar no longer being reserve currency has slowly been happening. It's before our very eyes. It's a slow motion train wreck. It's seeing it happen. And it will probably see it happen for as long as a decade. There's been no agreement yet, at least not agreed upon by the West, that the dollar is no longer going to be the reserve currency. There hasn't been that conversation. And so, until that conversation happens, we can reasonably assume that the dollar is going to be used quite a bit. And there's a lot more to that conversation, but to distill it into what matters with the gold chart, until the dollar is truly supplanted, this gold's probably going to remain under this number, or at least if it breaks above here, it's going to happen not that fast. Well, once that dollar gets supplanted, then, of course, all bets are off and gold can really, it'll be the crack that is released. So, and we've done a lot of, just go back to Algo Factory's YouTube channel where we talk about gold. I've done a number of gold charts. You'll see where we think it's going to go. Bitcoin. So we had, okay, that's a very high time frame chart. Bitcoin's in a time in its 4-year cycle where normally it wants to go down. Okay. So, there are indications on the chart that it is ready or not. And, but what we are seeing is that on a high time frame, on the daily, which is relatively high, it's not a super high time frame. Algorithmically, we are seeing a break being taken. We are seeing Bitcoin certainly take a break. Now, on the weekly, though, is where it gets interesting. Really, it's still very bullish, higher than the daily, right? So when the high time frame, when you're looking at the weekly chart here, which, this is Bitcoin going back to 2021, this trend up is still in effect. This move up that started basically the end of last year, say beginning of this year, January, seeing about 1600, ish, 1500, 1550, whatever it is, Bitcoin, excuse me, 15,000, not 1500. This is an uptrend, right? So let's define that really quick. Okay. You have higher highs, higher lows, right? And then you kind of stalled out here, but then, now you're making your way up, right? So you have just kind of like a consolidation in this area, but then of course you have your move upward. Okay. So this is an uptrend. And until the uptrend is invalidated, until we see price dip below one of these higher lows, it's technically in an uptrend. And the high time frame is still bullish. Now, that doesn't mean that price can't just stop going up and just go sideways for months. Like, price could really have stopped right here at this 45,000. A lot of people had their eye on some numbers and price broke above that. But long story short, price could just go sideways for all, even go down or go up, or, there's many things that can happen. One of the things that we'll do to kind of look at that is to take a look at the Kingfisher's liquidity, right? So kingfisher.io, and we use this all the time. So if you're new here, this is a really good website. If you're not new, you see this all the time. Let me go ahead and see if I can get some free credits from the Kingfisher. Go over there. Kingfisher.io. It's great. They don't pay me or anything. I'm not even putting in my referral code right now. It's really good for this kind of thing. All right. So I'm going to get a liquidity map for all leverage on Binance. So we're going to see where people's liquidations are. So people who are trading leverage, we're going to see where they're going to stop out if they're short and where they're going to stop out if they're long, or stop out. Actually, the term is liquidate. It's where the leverage where their margin runs out, where the trades go the wrong way long enough to where they are automatically taken out of the trade, right? And that's something that price tends to be pushed towards. So right now, they're actually right above price at 42,675. 42,675. Let's do this on a lower time frame. It looks like TradingView needs its coffee. All right, so we'll go down to the 3 hour here, swing trade time frame. And 42675 is where some liquidity has built up, and that's right above price. I mean, that's really close. This 42675 is a big number to be so close, right? Now, the way that these liquidations work is that once price favors a move once the charts really favor a move in the direction of these liquidation areas, that's when there tends to be a move. So sure, the liquidation's there, but if the algos and the chart itself, price action, all that, if it favors a move down, then there's a pretty low chance price is going to grab those. It can happen, but it usually has to wait until price wants to go in the direction of these. So we'll put that there. Now, the thing to know about these liquidation nodes is that they can change, right? So if these right here, this spike that I'm putting my mouse on, that's what I just put on the chart. And the reason that is there is because people are betting on the price going down. But this is where those trades are all going to get liquidated. So if price goes down and people take profit, these disappear. So liquidation profiles need to be refreshed as the market changes, right? So we can't just put that up there and for the next 3 days be like, yeah, that's where liquidation is. Like, no, you gotta check it out, like, a lot. So anyway, you have another spot here down at about 40,000. You have another one at 38.9, which has been there for a while. So basically 39,000, 38.6, 39. And we've been looking at that for several days, maybe even weeks. 38.6 to 38.9. So basically here. All right, so in this block, and right now the charts do favor a move down, and I've been saying this for a long time now, ever since this liquidation node showed up, I think a couple weeks ago. It would be very reasonable for price to move down and grab this. It doesn't mean that it's going to continue down after that. It doesn't mean it won't jump up and grab this one before it grabs these. But in the end, despite the path that price might take, this has been pretty sticky. This liquidation block has been staying there. And this liquidation, for those who are new, these are people who have gone long. Okay, so these are people who are betting on the price going up. And I don't like to use the term bet, but this is the beginner live lab and people think that way. We don't gamble here, we trade. There's a big difference. We scientifically determine the probability of winning trades based on a trade methodology. And when you do that, you're not betting anymore. You're sitting in a slot machine, except that you have tilted the odds in your favor at the slot machine. You know that every time you pull that handle, you have let's just say a 68% chance of winning. Now, if you had that and you went to Vegas and you knew you had a better than 50-50 chance of winning at the slot machines, you would sit there all day long and you would play the slots. Am I wrong? V, am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
It's not wrong, but you have degenerates. Forgive me if you like slot machines. I'm not talking to you unless you are a degenerate. I get it. I used to like to gamble myself. Ever since I started trading, I couldn't gamble anymore. But imagine if you could sit in front of a slot machine, but the odds are 68% in your favor. Anybody would sit there and play those slots all day. Now, they might play with pennies and, who knows what they would do. But if you zap this QR code, it's also in the top left-hand side of the screen. We can show you how we do this. And if you work really hard, you can create that kind of methodology to tilt odds in your favor, right? Okay, so just a quick commercial. Now, left of here is, this block that I just talked about, heavier to the downside. So say 39,000, high 38s, that's where the real sweet spot is. And again, I think if this sticks around, if this doesn't go anywhere, then yeah, we're going to see price probably make its way down there. So as a matter of fact, I'm convicted in this enough to where I'm considering taking off my. I have a fill trade, Filecoin. So I may take that trade off. We'll see. We'll see about it. I need to, after the show, take a look at that. We won our Solana trade. We put our stop to entry. So that trade's like permanent profit. But now that Bitcoin is doing this, I'm not liking the way the chart looks. Here's the reality. Bitcoin needs to find an equilibrium before the altcoins are really going to do well. So the choice we have now is, do we cut our losses on our crypto trades or not, right? Well, I'm about halfway to stop loss on my Filecoin trade, and I think Bitcoin, let me just take a look at volatility. See, that's on the 3 hour. So, but volatility is dropping on the daily, but it is rising on the 3 hour. Oh shoot, I need to reset this. Hold on. TradingView has some glitches. Let's see here. Got to reset this chart really quick. Everybody stand by. Okay. Volatility dropping on the weekly, but it's rising on the high time frame. So it just looks like for now. Let's see. Let me expand this. Let me go to the daily. Let me take a look at the volatility metric that we use. Volatility is going down on the daily. It's going up on the 3 hour, but it's going down on the daily. So do I want to risk it and stay in my crypto trade? Filecoin has it's sticking around, say 470, right? It's hanging out, but Bitcoin wants to go down. So it's almost as if maybe what I'm gonna do with Filecoin is I'm gonna put a stop loss below, let's say 450. I'm gonna move my stop loss up on Filecoin to say 450 even. I'm gonna do that right now. Give me a sec. Stop loss at 4. So that's gonna limit my loss because now we're in a scenario where it could go either way. And if it continues down, then I will cut my losses. If it goes upwards, I'm still in the trade and I give myself a little bit of space below price. So I'm gonna note this in the main chat here so everybody who is not watching this video can see this. Moving Filecoin stop loss to 450. Okay, good. Trade management. So back to the chart here. This is a daily chart, daily time frame here. So what happens with price? Usually with Bitcoin, the price runs up, stays in a certain area, and then takes a move, right? It generally does not make a large move and then a large move in the opposite direction. This is very typical for Bitcoin, and it doesn't mean that it always 100% always does this, but it tends to do this. It doesn't go normally up and then down. Not very common. It will, but usually it goes up, hangs out in an area, grabs some liquidity, hangs out in an area, grab some liquidity, hangs out in an area, grab some liquidity. That's just kind of Bitcoin at this time in the market, right? In this slow time in the market. So as it stands right now, there's a decent chance that on a lower time frame even, price might hang out where it is. And if it doesn't move from its current area, if price for Bitcoin stays, say, above 40,000, it doesn't jump down and grab that 9,000 area, then the altcoins might actually do well. I don't see it happening. I think price is going to dive down and grab that, but it's just might take a little time to get there. But that is Bitcoin as a whole right now for me, right? High time frame bullish, but it might just pull back and grab that. That's what I think will happen. Now, will that take days? Will it take weeks? Will it take long enough for the altcoins to actually start gaining momentum and people start to play them again? That's really the question. So that's why I went ahead and hedged. And not hedged, but I raised my stop on Filecoin because it could go up, but I don't want to just exit the trade. All right, cool. So let me see if there are any. I don't see any questions. Let's look in the chat. Oh, Vaughn, what's up, Vaughn? Vaughn says, "Yeah, I totally want to learn all about stop losses and buy orders." Vaughn, that is in the Algo Factory classes. Those stop losses, buy orders, that's the very basics. So if you want to learn about that, that tells me you probably haven't gone through the classes on the website. So I would recommend before you do anything, before you trade anything, go through those classes, right? We don't give any investment advice on there, but we do give you the nuts and bolts of trading. And that is a nut and a bolt at the purest sense. We got a few minutes yet left in the class. So does anybody have a chart that they want me to knock out really quick? And V, that's also aimed at you.
No.
Nope.
No,
we'll give everybody a second to. What was that?
No, not on the public side.
Not on the public side. Okay. Yeah,
can't
public charts are hot on.
We can't look at some energy stocks perhaps in the private room. See where the energy markets are treading.
You know what I will do is I'll take since I haven't had a request yet, I'll just take a brief look at oil the last couple minutes we have here. Brent crude. Okay. Yeah, now Brent does tend to slow down this time of year, if I remember correctly. The volatility is rising and the chart favors a move down. So, there probably will continue to be a move down. However, Historically, the area where it is right now, and this is going back to like last year, there's a lot of liquidity in this area. There should be anyway, right? So price consolidated more or less in this, what is this, 71 to 78. So in the 70s, really, I mean, from May of 2023, so from the spring to the summer, right? And you could even say there's a little bit here and it just deviated out, but really I would say for 3 or 4 months last year. So price may hang out where it is, and there's a lot of support, if you will. Price is not going to want to drop below this liquidity zone. Not likely, the bottom of the square. Going back a little bit further, let's see here. We don't have any data going back further on this particular chart. Actually, this is probably enough. Let's let me. I would say price is going to just hang out where it is for a while on oil. It's the winter time. It's gonna be quite quiet. V, you had something?
No, that's it.
Lisa asks, do you think Bitcoin affects or correlates gold rate? Well, I don't like to think. I like to know. So what I would do is I would put Bitcoin on the chart, and I would add gold over the top. I mean, I would say, and not a new pane. I don't want to do that. Let's actually undo that. Let's do new price scale. So I would look at both the charts to tell you if it correlates, and I could tell you it does, and it's probably largely going to correlate due to movement of the dollar. But you're looking at the daily here. So just going back to say 2022, you can see the moves down, the moves up, they all coincide. But again, that's probably going to do widely with actions of the US dollar. So, but yeah, they correlate, and you have it right in front of you there. So, all right, cool. We can look a little more at this if we care to. But let me get this off the chart here. I actually want to see that on a higher time frame. So we're going to look higher time frame in the private room. But V, Gorilla, please, can you give us that send off so we can move on to the private show?
Absolutely. I want to thank all you guys for listening in. Listen, don't sit there on the sidelines wondering if this is for you or not. Wondering, hey, you know what? I'm not that great in math. I can't figure this all out. Look, let us take the guesswork out for you. Let us handle all that stuff, and we show you how to break things down and make it real easy for you. Listen, join us, algofactory.tech. 2024 is coming. Don't leave money on the table. And with that being said, Cowboy, let's get into it.